We all are trying to learn something new, such as programming in this lockdown era. And before we spend hours and hours in learning something, we need to really think how we can learn something effectively so that we get minimum amount of time spent and get maximum output out of it. I'm going to share two tips with you which I have tried in my life and have seen tremendous benefit out of it. Tip number one is setting aside focus hours. So let's say you start learning data science or Python. You should set 2 hour, 3 hour or 4 hour focus hour time window. During this time window, you are not checking your phone. If possible, turn off your cell phone. That will be the best. You're also not going to some random news website or Facebook trying to see what your friend is eating in dinner, because that's not helpful anyway. The brain has a tendency that, let's say you're learning Python, you get stuck into a problem and brain has to do hard work, and your brain will now tell you that, oh, can you go and check this news website, or can you go quickly check Facebook what's happening, or check LinkedIn. You might have experienced this, right? So that is very destructive actually. That affects your learning by great amount. So those mind urges are something that you need to restrict. So anytime you're learning something and you have urge of reaching out to your phone, stop that, right? Turn off your cell phone or keep your cell phone just totally away from you. Second tip is spend less time in receiving the information and spend more time in digesting it. What I mean by that is, let's say you're learning how to implement tree in Python. Okay, this is a data structure tutorial. One option you can do is you can watch like 10 tutorials on YouTube and spend, let's say, 2 hours. The other option is you watch only one tutorial, then stop everything, then close your eyes and reflect what you learned. Then take a note and a pen and then try to draw something just to clarify your doubts. If you have a friend or a family member who is in the same area, then you can even discuss, because discussing things aloud will help you consolidate the information in your brain. This step is called reflection, and once you have reflected enough, you can try implementing it. That is the reason I give exercises in all my programming tutorials. Once you learn programming, you have to try to code it yourself and you have to work on exercises. So when you try to implement that thing, it will help in making that learning process very, very effective. The third step in digesting information is sharing. So once you learn something, try to share it with your friend. Let's say if you're in a college, you have a classmate that you can share the information with. If you are working somewhere, try to share that information with your colleague. Let's say I learned decorators in Python, I can discuss in my team. I can try to even help other people. Helping other people is the best way of learning things. Even if you don't know the concept, let's say your friend is facing some programming error, you can try to debug that error. That way it will clarify your own doubts as well, and in future if you are facing the same problem, then you know already how to solve that problem. There's a great video by Nissan Kasibarla on YouTube on the learning process, and he's trying to say the same thing basically, which is try to spend less time in input, which is receiving the information, reading books or watching tutorials. Try to spend more time in output, which is reflecting, implementing and sharing. I'm going to provide the link of that great video in the video description below. I hope these two tips are helpful. Try these tips out yourself and let me know how it goes. Also, if you have tried this before in your life and if it has benefited you in any way, please comment below.